509 Midsize Tactical. So the 509 Midsize Tactical is a mid-size 9mm handgun with a threaded barrel. You have suppressor height sights, night sights at that. Of course, an ability to mount your red dots. And of course, you have your ability to switch out backstraps. You have a front rail, and you have a 15-round magazine capacity, but it also comes with a 24-round magazine capacity as well. Long story short, this is FN's Glock 19. So, FN sent me this gun quite some time ago. And sometimes when they send me guns, I'm kind of like, nah, I'll get to it. I did that with this gun. And much like the first time I shot the 509 MRD, it was kind of like, I liked the tactical and I liked the MRD, but the midsize was kind of like, meh. You know, I honestly, I was just tired of mid-sized guns. I'm so used to the Glock 19 size guns for so long, it didn't really do anything for me. However, bringing it out here for the first time and actually shooting it off camera, I shouldn't have done that because I think this gun is largely underrated. Underrated in a very, very criminal way. And the reason why is this. Let's start off with the way it looks.
Before you finish watching this video, a word from today's sponsor, Delete Me. Now, for obvious reasons, I like to keep my personal information off of the internet to the best degree that I can. So when Delete Me came to me and said that they wanted to sponsor one of my videos, I said, I'm all for it because this is incredibly important to me, so I'm pretty sure it'd be incredibly important to you all. Now, unfortunately, putting your private information online is big business, as data brokers literally sell your information to anyone who's willing to pay for it. But there are ways to prevent these brokers from selling your information. That's where Delete Me comes in. You see, Delete Me is a subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online. You'll get a privacy report in 7 days, and they'll also remove things like your name, your address, your social media, and even things like your current property value on your home. Right now, you'll get 20% off when you click the link in the description section of this video or use the code Colion when you sign up. So thank you, Delete Me, for supporting the channel.
All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Noir, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry.
Even though I'm exhausted of kind of mid-sized guns, I gotta say, proportionally, this gun is freaking awesome. Like if I had to compare it to other mid-sized guns, I think the FN 509 Midsize Tactical is one of the better looking guns on the market. And a lot of it has to do with just the lines. Now, if you're somebody who really likes a clean aesthetic and likes your gun to look really plain and simple, this probably won't do it for you. For somebody like me who appreciates a clean aesthetic, but then can also appreciate something that's a little more busy, that has a little character and personality to it, this is it. I mean, hell, look at the grip. The grip has 34 different patterns on it. It has this pattern, has that pattern, has this pattern, has that pattern. And they all kind of have a functional purpose in terms of changing the direction and the way the gun helps you grip it in hand. And that works, but visually, I like it. I like the clean borders, I like the clean lines, and I like the variety, along with the serrations on the slide. And the serrations on the slide aren't even that crazy, if we're just gonna be honest. But I also really love it because having the threaded barrel on there, along with the red dot, it just gives the gun a certain character that just fits. And then on top of it, you have the actual trigger of the gun balances the gun out. Because a lot of times you get these guns and the triggers look really small or really thin. So you have this kind of hulking beef of a gun and this little tiny trigger, it can kind of look a little kooky. This here gives the gun a kind of bold presence that you normally don't see because this trigger is kind of wide. Now, remember how I was talking about all the different lines and patterns on the gun in terms of the grip of the firearm? Yes, visually, aesthetically, it's pleasing, but in hand, it's also functional because what it does is when the gun recoils, you have so many different directions that these grip textures are going that it almost kind of has a corkscrew effect in your hand. So like for instance, you get the front strap here. So when the gun wants to recoil, it kind of keeps the gun in hand here. And then when and then you got this texture back here, which when the gun's trying to recoil in terms of it wanting to come down, it kind of catches your palm there too. And by and large, the side grips usually don't feel them that much. You do a little bit, but nothing crazy. Maybe when you have your thumb rest here, like that. It's just kind of a feel-good area to put the gun. But also, the gun is really balanced. And of course it's balanced because it's a mid-sized gun. So any mid-sized gun, generally speaking, has a 4.5-inch barrel. It's gonna be a balanced package, especially when the gun is loaded. And even though it has a threaded barrel on it, it doesn't cause the gun to be too front heavy. It just sits in a way that I find very, very pleasing and appealing. So I've been on this crusade for super tiny, small tactical guns, right? I like the super compact guns that I can still carry. Everybody don't want that. There are some people out there who are like, look, cool small guns are cool, but they suck to shoot. They're not that fun to shoot. They're kind of hard to get to, especially if you're of a bigger size and you have bigger hands. They can be a little bit annoying. And then honestly, if we're just gonna be honest, when it comes to shooting small guns, when I think about having to use it in a self-defense situation, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I'm just gonna say it. I feel more confident with a bigger gun in my hand. If I'm in a situation where I may find myself in danger, I like the idea of knowing I have a bigger gun on me. It could have the same capacity, but I still like the idea of knowing this gun's a little bit bigger. I know how it's gonna handle. It's just gonna feel more substantive and give me a little more confidence in my situation. So, I always talk about how important having confidence is when it comes to self-defense, because if you don't have that confidence, it's gonna kind of put you behind the curve. At least that's what I think. If you disagree, state it in the comment section. Earlier in my career, my one size gun was like a Glock 26, if I only had one gun, because of the versatility of it. But when I come to think about it, the balancing act actually has more leverage when you have a mid-sized gun versus a super small gun like that. Now, let's talk about how this gun shoots. And that's where I hit a point where I was like, damn, this thing is massively underrated, especially when you combine it with this. I'm running a Leupold Delta Point Pro on this. With a red dot on this gun, this is a beautiful marriage right here. And the crazy thing is, and I was telling Peter off camera, this particular Leupold Delta Point Pro has a chevron reticle. So for those who don't know what a chevron reticle is, a chevron reticle is basically a triangle. It's not a circle, it has a triangle. Generally speaking, I don't like them. I don't know, something about my eyes doesn't really like them too much. They are great for up close work. I'll give you that. But when you start going the distance, you kind of have to like use the tip of the damn triangle or whatnot. But with this gun, for some reason, they complement each other. And I'm struggling to explain why, but when I'm out here shooting, this gun, it shoots so damn well. Like the recoil impulse of this gun is just flat. Like it doesn't, like certain guns, when you shoot them, one can the recoil may want to rise a little bit or want to push back a little bit or be a little snappy. Not this. This is just flat. Like I said, flat. There's no perceptive muzzle rise. There's no tendency to be very snappy or poppy. It just just shoots. It just shoots, and it's relatively soft. And usually I'll kind of figure out how much a gun recoils shooting it one-handed. And if I have to overstress or overgrip to manage that recoil, and I don't really have to do that with this gun. This gun is a freaking shooter. And I thoroughly enjoy shooting this gun in a way that I didn't realize I was going to, because like I said before at the beginning of the video, I was like, mid-sized bores, it's mid, right? Literally mid. But there's a practicality to mid-size that I think really is beneficial. 509s have a reputation for having gritty triggers, at least older ones. That has not been my experience as of late with the newer releases of 509s. Older 509s, and I have a few of them, the triggers were rather gritty. So the case with this 509, the trigger on this gun, and I'm not going to make any concessions, this trigger is good. Not okay, not okay for a 509. This trigger is good. So as you see here, there's no stacky grittiness right here. It's smooth. That is smooth. Then you have your wall, and then you have your break, and then you have your reset right there. Wall, break, reset. This is a good trigger. It's about 5 to 7 pounds, so it's not a super light trigger, but I mean, come on. Like, this is freaking good. And because it has this double hinge trigger design, but it's also a fatter trigger. Trigger's kind of meaty, right? So if you like a little meat on your bones, this is the trigger for you because it has a very pleasurable soft landing pad for your fingers. This has gotten covertly sexual, but you get what I'm saying. Your finger feels really good on this trigger, and even though it's a double hinge, you don't feel it. You just feel this nice, soft, wide, whatever. But no, this is actually really good trigger. There's no creep, there's none of that. Like I said before, the reset right there, boom. And the reset is like, it's flat. It's not a super short reset. It's just a nice, solid reset. This is an awesomely solid gun, I guess is the best way to put it. And I guess it makes sense because it is a mid-sized gun. 509's MSRP price points are admittedly kind of high. FN is proud of their 509s. And I don't disagree with it because the 509s are good guns. People that love them absolutely love them. A lot of people who hate them probably shot one once and never went back to again because they already have a predisposition to a certain other gun. And there are a lot of people in the middle who, when they do shoot them, they're like, man, that's actually a really nice gun. MSRP, I think these are like 1,100, maybe 12, I think. I don't know, Peter annotates the video. But on the street, and that's the other thing a lot of people got to think about, MSRP price isn't always street price. So the MSRP is kind of high. Street price, these are going sub 1,000. Sub 1,000. Now, am I saying that's low? No, it's not. However, you do get quite a bit with this gun. And we are talking about the tactical version because the non-tactical versions are going for like $600, $700. But with the tactical, of course, you get the threaded barrel. You get these, threaded barrel is the threaded barrel, right? You can put the suppressor on it, that's great. Everybody knows that threaded barrels usually command a premium on the price of the gun. However, when I tell you these suppressor height sights are phenomenal, these are my favorite suppressor height sights. If I could put these suppressor height sights on every gun, I absolutely would. They're just great. So you have this white paint surrounding the tritium, and then in the rear, they're also tritium, but they're blacked out. So you don't have, your eyes don't start battling with the focus points. Then on top of that, you can co-witness it very easily because of the awesome mounting system on the actual 509 Tactical. And keep in mind, of the red dots on the market for pistols, the Delta Point Pro probably sits the highest, and you can still clear it with these sights. And it does a damn good job. So you can turn this thing off and just run the iron sights just as comfortably if you really wanted to. I absolutely love these iron sights. These suppressor height sights are just, I love them. The question now becomes, who's this gun for? I think I already stated at the beginning of the video. The gun is for people who don't want these little tiny guns, and somebody who's not trying to deal with the size and the weight of the full-size guns. You're talking about somebody who's like, look, I just want a gun that works, that feels good, that I can shoot really well, and that's gonna give me the confidence of knowing I have a big enough gun. And that's what this is. It's also for somebody who's looking to multitask it, right? This gun can be a good home defense gun. You can set it up, put a suppressor on it. Remember, this gun comes with a 20-round magazine, 24 round magazine. So you could throw that in the gun, put a suppressor on it, call it a day. That's your home defense gun right there. For somebody who's like, I have big hands, I don't want to go so big that it's a full-size gun, and I don't want to go so small into the little mousy guns for people with hobbish hands like Colion Noir, this mid-size gun is perfect. This 509 mid-size is perfect, especially for someone who is like, I don't want to buy a Glock. Because that's what everybody's going to tell you to do for the mid-size. They're going to tell you, buy a Glock 19, buy a Glock 19. And even I use a Glock 19 as a barometer to place other guns against, right? I'm not going to go so far as to say that I would choose this over a Glock 19 because that's not the video for this, even though that might actually be the truth. However, if somebody who is like, I don't want a Glock 19, I want something else, that's who this gun would be for. So we're not talking about a gun that's just $1,000 to be $1,000. You get a lot with the gun. The 509 Midsize Tactical Once again, what happened with me in the compact MRD happened with this midsize. And a lot of it has to do with how this gun shoots. This gun is a shooter. Same way the MRD was a shooter. So, 509, Midsize Tactical. What do you think, Peter?
I like it.
Nobody asked you.
You literally just did.
Whatever.
Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.